Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know if because it was coming through. Oh, about 10. It ended about 10 minutes before I jumped on. Um, Guessing that means you're on. Oops. Well, I made my phone click off. That's why I'm get you pulled up on the Twitch. Well, I about screwed up really bad last night. Actually, I did, and then I was able to. I had enough time to correct it. I I was going through. I noticed my C drive is really full for some reason. I think I know what it is, but I gotta do some checking to see how to fix it. But I went to like, okay, well, what is my programs that are mainly taking up stuff? And I hit uninstalled 22 last night, and then I installed it late enough that I could.
Okay. Oh. All right. Yep. I gotta join the farm. Okay.
Yeah, and then I got your tractor and planter ready.
Okay.
Um, and I'm at the shop buying the second one.
Oh, I see.
Anyways, I thankfully when I uninstalled everything, I kept the game saves, so I didn't lose any information. I just had to reinstall the game.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, I guess I have mine installed on my D drive, or not the.
Says my C drive is filled up, and I think I got to do some checking, but I think FS25 at least originally would the temp files were overcrowding people's machines, and I haven't checked to see what I need to take off again.
Yeah.
So I may need to just go do that because I went through all my stuff. It was like other than these farm sim games, there isn't really that much that should be eating up space, and even then, even though they're like the biggest gigabytes, they shouldn't be eating up everything.
Yeah.
So, well, then on top of that, my Stream Deck's not working at the moment because they decided to update it,
Oh. Yeah.
and then they got rid of the plugins that I use to do my scenes, and I can't quite figure out how to get them back on. I think they're still. I hope they're still updating.
Well, it's like the configuration then is not.
So uh, I have the scene set up so they're just they're a picture. They're just a scene. They just turn it on and off. Simple.
Yeah.
Well, for some reason the new update there isn't a spot for scenes, so there's nothing to toggle on and off. I spent Spent the last 2 nights trying to figure this all out. I finally just come to the conclusion that for when they updated this last weekend that they didn't quite get things right, and hopefully they'll get them right. Because it should be pretty simple. It's just an on and off switch. That's the way I had it set up.
Yeah.
But I can't get it to I can't find the right buttons to set it back to on and off. And I should have just left it alone and just updated it, but I thought I needed to remove what I had, and I removed them. I shouldn't have. That's part of my problem. But well, part of it is so. What makes me think that they're still updating it? Part of the problem is they changed where um they changed where things were, and so now because I use Streamlabs, and even if you use OBS, you have to download the appropriate plugins.
Oh, yeah. Probably.
And so they kind of just changed the way that they were, and now I just can't find the right. I can't find the right plugin program to get it correct now.
And it's not on their website or whatever. It's probably because they want
not
to use
not
their
that I could
streaming
not that I
software.
could see, but here's the other thing is like they have a lot of the buttons. Like you can do your say you're gonna have a clip play or something. They have all those buttons in the menu, but they don't have any way to program any of them. So that's what makes me think that maybe things aren't quite right yet. You don't have any way to tell it. Okay, go to this is your file path to go to get this
Yeah.
and turn it on. That's what makes me think that maybe they're still working it out.
Well, I don't know. If Elgato has their own streaming software, but it might be because they kind of want to make it so you use only their stuff, or something. I don't know.
They do. So like, I can't the sandbox that you use. I can't use the ones from my plugin, or at least I haven't figured out how to. I have to purchase through Elgato
Mm.
to use any kind of sound alert. Which I've been going through them because what I want to do they don't really have, or at least I can't find it. So I've been I was like, well, that's okay. Maybe I can find something that I can use.
Yeah.
Otherwise, well, I was going through to see what they just uploaded and stuff, and someone someone uploaded the sound of the submersible implosion.
Oh.
So I could put that in my stream deck, and I was like, I kind of want to, but I'm like, that's also kind of morbid.
Well, yeah. The pop, yeah.
Because that's actually that's something that actually happened. It's not something that someone made on the sound stage.
Well, yeah. Well, and I've watched videos where, so I know what it sounds like.
Well, exactly. I mean, I listen to it. I know what it is. I mean, that whole thing kind of. I mean, it made the news. The whole thing kind of was on some
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's
facets.
still,
It's kind of interesting.
well, there's still YouTubers making, because more and more as things get released, more kind of classified submarine whatever, or kind of analysis has more audio and that.
See,
I mean, the more and more, and I've watched some of it, but the more and more that starts coming out about it, the more and more you just realize how reckless he and the company was.
yeah.
They fired anybody who dissented anything said, no matter how like small it was.
Well, I understand, like, I understand why I was thinking that fiberglass was a good material to go with, but at the same time, like, he was told not to do that.
Well, that's it. It hadn't been. Again, he was trying to be an innovator, but the material science said, at least for that design cylinder, that just wasn't good.
Yeah.
I actually watched a video that was kind of more of a history of Alvin sub that first they first got to the, but turns out that was based on a design from some guy in 1930 or something came up with, and just they refined it over the years. It was fundamentally this, even the one it's still diving, fundamentally almost the same sub that they built in the 60s, but
Yeah.
but fundamental design hadn't changed since the guy who kind of came up with the dive. Basically, the chamber that people sit in has to be a ball. That was his whole deal about making it a cylinder, so you could haul more people, and of course, it like a tourism type of, make it cheaper.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the other thing. Theoretically, and well, I guess technically he did. He made it cheaper, not safe as in reliable. Physics of a sphere at pressure. Like I said, these videos kind of more recent audio. Life or what? Checks is down, and they heard explosion topside, like in the boat.
See, I didn't know that. I didn't know
Yeah,
that they heard.
yeah.
heard
There's like they were videoing her saying this, that, and the other, and then because the communications are a little delayed, we heard him, and then they heard this. You can hear it, and it's just like almost webcam quality video that they were just had in the document. And you could hear this, and the other guys kind of like, you could tell their body language was like, we think, calling out to him like instantly. They pretty much knew probably what happened.
I can remember before they got the search vessels out there, they had like pretty much knew because of the sound that they had captured already.
Yep.
That pretty much knew what they were walking into.
And even when it started hitting the news, I didn't even thing was on your when it was after a few hours, and they were like, they weren't finding any signs of anything. I pretty much figured something lapsed. Nothing to find, nothing to. Yeah, it was pretty. I mean, it's not like loud on the video. Video's not designed to catch that. You can hear this. It sounds like it's outside the boat. That's just how how it resonated on.
Well, I suppose because there would have been air to escape, it would have traveled maybe with the bubble.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, those pressures, they like you wouldn't have seen a bubble at the top, especially.
Yeah.
But like I watched a lot of videos came out kind of right more after it happened, where they started going over, their promotional. You're watching, and I mean, there's things, I'm not a material science, and I had to take word for it, but even before they started talking about what they were showing videos of them manufacturing and them hand mixing the epoxy and and just watching, they're not in like a sterile clean you know facility. It's just like a shop, like at your work kind of thing. Nothing. um and they're like touching the, they're just putting their hands on the area where they're gonna bond. It's like, oils from your hands are gonna compromise that that a bond there. Yet, like I said, problems. Nobody knew that until after that all this came out with some of the cross section of the carbon fiber, and even the cross section or test. Like, well, this is when they were kind of designing it as they go. That'll work. But anyway, yeah, there was porosity. I mean, holes in the bond layer, obvious. Like places where that epoxy, like carbon fiber strands that didn't didn't couldn't fully cure because the way they were wrapping it, let it out gas, didn't, so it like bubbled up and made voids. And the one thing I noticed, that those rings, the end cap, they just slid them on. Like it wasn't even like didn't even look like it was an interference fit. And the way they were applying this epoxy, hand mixing, and putty knives or plastic spreaders, and again, not super environment.
Yeah.
It's no wonder it dives as I have a hard time feeling sorry for him specifically. So reckless. I don't care or whatever that can they they trust trust in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, more and more
Well,
has
and
come out.
he was evidently a good salesman to like talk him into
Well,
um
well, that's argue that was the biggest attribute for the whole deal. I mean, yeah, he was a submarine nut, whatever you want. Genuine loved going down there. It wasn't purely to make a bit out of it, but it a lot of growing the business, making more business safety decisions. That makes sense
yeah.
because he was ignoring, engineers and people he hired to, to, to design this.
I think this field is done,
Yep,
so we
it
got
is
that
because I
other
did
little field to do.
probably a pain with these big.
Um, maybe a little bit. But there's one really long stretch if you go
Yeah,
ways across the field. Oops, trying to do the ends. It won't take us long, that's for sure, though.
yeah.
Yeah, I was looking through sales because I was like, been trying to find something kind of funny, like I could play when the AI drivers in their cars hit a tractor or something, But
Well,
I heard
you
that
could
one.
you
I
could
was like,
try
that
and
might be a little bit too morbid.
yeah. Well, I guess you could find the whole Macintosh Classic. I know what it was called Wild. That was kind of the sound effect. Did something the computer couldn't do.
See, see, what I was hoping for was I was hoping to get some stuff like goat screams and it just so that like I could randomly play them throughout and then like I said well another one I wanted to do is when someone came in one of those spam bots came in or something that gets banned or whatever I wanted to play like I wanted to find something like "Thank you, come again," or
Yeah.
something kind of
Well,
funny like
find
that,
the
and
sentence.
I
Find
can't find
Apu.
any of those.
I was gonna say find Apu. From that would be kind of almost.
What's interesting about them though is I noticed this weekend they evidently got a little bit smarter finally because they come in and their message didn't get flagged right away. They were well the one I saw was like they came in and I was like I like your I like your gameplay. Can I join your Discord? It's like um what they said they evidently learned that they get flagged by doing other things that they kind of stopped.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I get the I'm checked, but well sometimes it's a website great and they great for it's like but it's real generic like they don't address my website or even what I do you know what I do it's like okay automated same and the bot bots are bot con.
My favorite, one of my favorites was the last ones that I kind of messed with a little bit. They came in and they were oh, I like your content. Like, have you ever thought about having someone design stuff for you? And it's like, well, I design my own stuff. I mean, like,
Well, I don't even respond to it. It's not even a human at this point.
it's a human, but they're like they're just after they're just after money, obviously. I've been getting a lot of I've been in my Gmail one because I'll go through my spam folder because sometimes it catches things that shouldn't be that aren't spam, like some ad that I actually kind of did want or something. But I've been getting a lot more Geek Squads and stuff popping up in my Gmail one
Yeah.
lately.
Oh, I don't know why this made me think. Kind of made me think of Kit Bogoda, um, and I don't always have time to actually watch him. I do sometimes. I'll put him on the background, but his AI chat bot calling scammers all day long, and it's like there's a timer going, and like he's got a leaderboard of like how longest call that robo dialer bots real scammer on the on the on the phone, and it's I think I want to say like the record is an hour and a half or so. They've kept a conversation.
Oops. See, I haven't watched him lately, but I was watching him when he was trying to create those.
Well, I watched
Like
all through that.
he would call with them, and then that didn't work, and then he'd go back and reprogram a little bit, and then he'd try calling again. I watched all that testing process.
Doing some Lyman.
Yeah,
Uh
we're gonna have to switch though, because these are got fertilizer in them.
oh right, because well, and see, he created his own set. See, and that's the other thing. He created his own separate channel for. So like their 4 hour or whatever live stream, and every day, and like I said, they can. Well, and the other thing, that's right. The other thing as it's up to do audience participations, kind of like your as commands.
I thought these were lime. Are these fertilizer?
I thought that was all fertilizer.
No, they are lime. Okay, what's are these? I thought these were fertilizer. These are solid for. How come my I keep unloading? I keep I keep unloading and then all of a sudden like pops up with more. Okay, I'm gonna try this one more time, and
Let's see what
if
I think I got fertilizer. Got a little bag.
yeah, well that's what. See, that's what I'm unloading over here. But every time I unload, oh, so there must be some kind of a glitch in the system.
So I want to unload mine,
You want to unload the fertilizer and you want to put lime in.
and all this over here, right in front. That is
Yeah, because we didn't have anywhere to put it.
that's what I thought. Yeah, I wanted that to work. Okay. Kind of didn't want. How do you?
Left joystick, you push down on it, I believe. No, mine you
It's
don't have to
working.
press
It's
and hold.
working.
You
I
just
just I.
well, they're coming out with a new DLC again. I don't know what date, but it's gonna be completely about fishing.
Hmm.
So it's fish farming. So you kind of the same concept as rice. You grow the little baby fish. When they get to a certain size, you load them up in the truck and you haul them out to the farm pens, and then you put them in the water and you grow them and feed them, and then it's supposed to come with a bunch of boat packs and stuff too. Yeah, yours looks full.
It
Mine's
only says
almost.
11%.
Oh, it's the field that we weren't just doing. If that makes any sense.
The one right across here.
The light brown one. We drove through it.
Oh, I wondered if so across from that.
Yeah. I'm gonna get filled up about the time you're done with that field.
Actually, I'm. Oh, weird. It's a. And it,
So you have to keep hitting like to start a new bag. So once the bag is
yeah, well, that's what I was doing.
and
Already in.
but I do agree that yours does look full because that was what I was seeing too.
Yeah, but it only and it 10%. I'll probably
Well,
just
and
go back.
like I was saying, mine was kind of glitching on me.
Okay, fish farm. What is some of the things you're gonna do? I mean, water.
There's some like there's gonna be boats in there too. They're gonna provide you with boats. So I'm guessing there's gonna be some water stuff you do, or maybe some water transport and stuff. And I'm sure with releases, it's going to be one of those things where new and different, and people are jumping on it. And then after about a month, then they're just like, well, okay, on to the next thing. I guess what I always look at though is like, okay, what does this create for the map makers? Like, does this create new possibilities of some different kind of maps that we haven't seen before? That's what I always look for with
Well,
the
maybe more
DLCs.
rivers.
It's like,
You know,
yep, maybe there'll be more rivers and more river traffic, and maybe barges or
well, that's the
something.
thing. Barges, you know, because like how they got the train. Scenarios, you're going to load a train. Just load barges, drive
So
them up and down.
I think Riverbend Springs is set up to run barges, but I don't think people did them too much. You know, either that or it's because they didn't have a reason to, so to speak, because um maybe the barges were uh not the greatest selling price at the time, because I know a lot of people were playing Riverbend Springs when technically the game was broken and they were still trying to fix things. So I'm not saying that it's better now, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been weird this. It's been a little bit weirder this on 25 than it has in the past, because it's like I can remember 22 didn't exactly work right out of the gate.
Yeah, I've
Exactly how it was supposed to, until the first patch came along, and then they started getting it fixed and stuff. Well, it seems like 25, they're like, they kind of fix things, but then they decide that they're going to do a DLC, so they start doing updates for the DLC, and that starts breaking stuff again. And then they got to go back and either fix it or it never gets fixed.
or it's fixed in third party.
Well, well, and so I was got in. I had to quit playing Silver Run because they just did an update last week, and something in the update broke uh the mods aren't updated to it or whatever, so it broke the kind of broke the map. So it was doing the same thing it was doing before, which was it would get to a point and then it'd start locking up the map, and then it would lock up my PC and quit the game and stuff. So I had to quit playing that map, and I made sure this time, so because this has been more of a common problem, I went into another map and started it without mods, and I ran no problem. So I know it's something to
So
do
that's
with
what
the
it is.
mods on that map, and the problem is there's a couple of those mods. That's a map that has a couple of mods that they want you to put in, and so I was just like, "Well, the heck with this." Plus, I've restarted the map like 13 times, so it's time to move on. Well, and then I started another map, and I swear the DLCs, because there's 3 DLCs that they've done so far. One of them was with the original purchase, and I swear the DLCs crashed the game. I had to take
Those are
them
the
out of it.
officials.
Yeah, I had to take those out because I swear one of them was crashing the game. I don't know which one. I haven't really tested to see which one. And I don't know if it's all. I don't want to say that it's all Giants' fault either, because usually kind of what happens with mods is okay, they're built for a certain version of the game, and when they do the updates, they may not jive with that update, and then they either need to be updated or you need to do something, do something else. So on that part of things, I don't blame Giants for that. I mean, I can understand they need mods need updated just like the game do. They need to keep up with the game. I think sometimes and I think sometimes too is it you don't realize that your mod may not necessarily work with another mod. It may not be the mod itself. It just may not work. It may have a conflict with a different mod. But anyways, that's all right. I'm kind of doing. I don't know if you remember. I did a logging map, but it was more kind of like based on Brazil in 22. I played it for months. But I found this one's supposed to be in America. I found a kind of something very similar to that. So it's still logging, but it kind of gives you like if you clear the land, you can farm it kind of thing, and so it's kind of like a no man's land with a lot of logging. You can't just openly start a field. You have to log it first. So I think I'm gonna do that map. And I've got to mess with fertilizer.
Yeah, I got some.
We just got to flat out mess. That didn't go where I wanted either. Okay. Well, we're to that point in 22 where there's enough maps that everybody's kind of playing their own thing. There should be at least maybe not exactly what you want to play, but there's something very close to the style you want to play. And
Yeah.
I've been kind of holding off on the Elma map and stuff. I'm just piling up. I'm gonna do the same with the fertilizer. So they're just kind of out of the way so we can actually drive around. Ooh, almost went flying there.
Huh.
Okay, I think I'll grab these over here because these are fertilizer too, I believe. Yes, they are. Fertilizer is in one pile, lime is in another pile. We definitely won't have to buy any.
Oh. Actually, should have got a dozer blade and push them around.
Yeah, we've got that.
Maybe that would have been easy.
Well, you know what I do on what I've been doing on 25. If I've got something like this, I got a silo that you can throw this stuff in. So I just throw all of it in that one silo,
Yeah.
and then you can use it. You can unload to it and then reload to it, and almost got this all. There's only two more left. I don't want to despawn any of this either because that's just wasted money.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll never completely ever go through it, but still, just the thought of was spent money on us. So oh, that's lime. Okay, they are in two distinct piles now. Oops.
I was gonna say.
I wasn't trying to pick it up. Okay, well, you mess with that. I'm gonna park these planters. Did you hear about the Grok AI bot going off?
Uh-uh.
So okay, you I'm sure heard about the Texas floods
Well, yeah.
and the Camp Mystic. So there was this. I think she was from Houston. She made these horrible remarks, and so people uh, started asking Grok AI, which is uh,
That's Google,
separate
right?
from.
Yeah,
No,
no, I know.
it's Elon's.
Yeah.
Anyways, they started asking it questions, and the the robot so started profiling her because of her last name, and it assumed that she was Jewish, and started saying all this hateful Jew stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, it was being anti-Semitism. Yeah, Grok was.
Saying I'm the Mecca Hitler.
Yeah.
And there was a bunch of other things that I said. But it's it's hilarious and it's not hilarious. you know. But it's hilarious that it went off, but it's like the scene was not hilarious.
Well, that's the thing. It's like we're this far in, and they large language model still again hallucinate. I hate it. Our ERP adding more in. Like, do you want Copilot? And it's like for like basic like summaries of emails, or it's I'll give it this. It's okay, but it's also not not very useful, I guess.
Yeah.
I haven't I haven't found it because it'll miss critical details, and it doesn't always understand context, especially of who's speaking. And it does have a disclaimer. It says AI can be wrong. It's like, well, then don't put it in. Like, I wish I could shut it off. And then, like, in the email, it's automatically shows up in there. You have to shut it off, like close it out every time you compose an email.
Yeah.
Just a nuisance.
There isn't really a job. Oh,
Well,
well, you can put it. You can put it in this building over here. There should be plenty of room in there.
yeah, well,
I'm gonna go sleep because there isn't really a job to do.
okay.
Well, and then we were talking about it at work. I don't know if this had something to do with it or not, but then after that the ex CEO promptly resigns, and that's where it all happened on was on X, and they had to bring in the X AI to I don't want to say eradicate, but to eliminate all the messages.
Now maybe people learn that this stuff isn't definitely isn't ready for prime time. We don't need it. Like like people figured out that okay, this was AI, so AI AI. But then what if yeah, what if people start believing it? Because actually, kind of already are, or young people and then old people, like that aren't paying attention, don't kind of won't know. Just like the memes you see on Facebook. I mean that's the thing. I'm thinking about my kids. There's an literacy that we just grew up with because we were there at the before it happened. We were there at the beginning as all this. Whereas young people, it's just been there, so they won't know to question. They won't know what to question and not to question. I mean, I'm honest. I can have a hard
Okay, I
time.
think the next thing to do is to plow that field we just slimed. There's a plow in there right next to where your tractor's parked. Well, that's what I'm saying. There's one in here too.
Yeah, I honest. Times I have to really scrutinize. I'm reading or I'm pass a judgment. Is this real? I mean, it's like in the YouTube and a lot of it I see it.
And speaking of AI, and you brought this up when I saw you, but that band that you were talking about that made that song "Dust on the Wind,"
Yeah.
so that is making huge headlines or at least on all the rock stations that I saw this week.
Okay, I
Um,
wondered if it would go at least a little what I'd call mainstream and make it to like first I don't get to listen to a lot of Willie. Well, maybe he's talked about it, but like you know Willie's with
I
it,
didn't.
but not with it to like up to the minute. But like if rock stations are that means to me that means it's finally mainstream, and then the average people question or go and support known real artist stuff.
You know, so how it was presented on the stations I heard, because I knew from what you told me what the name of the song was, and then you told me that it wasn't
Like Velvet Sunshine or
like
Velvet Sundown or something is a fake band name. Well, I mean, I could tell by the picture that it was more than likely AI generated, but then when I saw multiple pictures back to back to back, the band members didn't look the same every they looked different in every picture, and not just
yeah.
because they had different clothes, like their faces weren't the same.
So so the stories I saw, they brought up that first. The story of the band was a little bit too outrageous and a little bit too
Well, it was
the
very
to
generic. It was
to
almost very generic adjective.
that they said that too, that it was vague, and and then the only reason I know it's the same thing that you're talking about is because then they said, well, their first song was was "Dust on the Wind."
Well, and then I don't know that we talk about it, but last time, but uh, when you actually, I like actually listen to it, and I hard to just come into it blind. But what was what struck me is it didn't sound like anything that like the style was like an amalgamation of a lot of styles, which okay, a real band can and would do that too. But the thing is the structure of the song didn't. There was no beginning, middle, or end. Or normally you have nearly any song, and I don't, with or without lyrics, has a chorus, has a hook, has an has an part A, has a part B, that part and then C, and then the bridge, and you go back to B or A, and then end, and it's like this didn't really have the typical song structure. Like even EDM has that. It's just the parts are all spaced out a lot. So I mean,
Well,
that's the other thing.
speaking of it, as a like we were talking about when people support bands and stuff, then you know
Or not necessarily
between
support, but be discerning with what they what they click on, and give that play, give that listen, give that view. That's what I mean by support. It doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, buy the MP3, buy the whatever, buy a merch, buy C. Just give them the view, give them the listen, give them
yeah,
the download.
with holograms like they've been doing with the celebrities that have passed on and stuff, like man, this could really do some damage
Well,
as far as like real people, as far as like real people, real jobs, the real music dream, and
I mean, they're saying that in like the movie. Yeah, I agree. But hopefully people will recognize it and not consume. I mean, it's going to get consumed, but not supported, as in continually consumed. Or it. Okay, bad, probably horrible analogy, bad example, but it's kind of like, all right, it's a bit of a meme to hate Nickelback and all that, but okay, you don't like Nickelback, or you think Nickelback terrible, don't listen to it. Try to convince people otherwise not to listen. Kind of horrible analogy, but all right. Replace Nickelback with AI generated band, and it's like, okay, now hate AI generated band, convince people not to listen, not to download, not to buy, not to whatever, not to give it the view.
I understand because that's what I practice with a few morning radio shows. I there's a few out there that I've listened to over the years that I cannot stand, and one of them was they used to be funny. They got a little bit too political. I think now they kind of just I don't know if they the from what I hear, it kind of sounds like they maybe realized that they maybe were a little bit too political and they turned off a lot of too many people. But they was like in the beginning of all that, when people were telling them, we don't like this, they said, well, they said that's fine if you don't like us, that then don't listen to us. It's like,
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Is I hate to use like, or cancel and stuff, but maybe we need to, you know, yeah, I mean, selective music listening audience, you know, as much as you possibly can reject AI. I mean, it's just like thing in the AI art and AI videos that are. Now, I don't run across them, but apparently it's a problem on YouTube. But I don't get them fed to me. I have got, well, I shouldn't say I don't. I have run across them, but it's like within 30, usually within 30 seconds, less than a minute. Like, wait, this kind of this kind of doesn't doesn't have a personality. It doesn't have a, you can just tell it doesn't have a soul. There's no
yeah,
enthusiasm about whatever it is talking about. So I click away. And I don't even dislike the video, because disliking signal boost interactions. Yeah, I might have clicked on that recommended, but I'm not giving it the watch time by giving it more in it if I help it. And I know other people do, so I don't know if it's working, but I mean it's working as far as I feed videos, as I don't get served that kind of. Just need. I think it's gonna be harder with music. Just gonna they're gonna sneak it in to a rotation in between
yeah.
two bangers of like, or again, like, quote, elevator move.
If you get something that you can release for radio play, and if you start playing it, you're not seeing the band there anyways. So
Yeah, but like you can kind of feel like it can kind of, so at least this one, this dust, whatever, velvet sun, dust on the wind, I could tell this something was up.
yeah,
Now granted, it's hard because even real bands overproduced, and they're going and getting going in post production, getting every note perfect, so it's getting harder to do. But even with that, I feel like so far I can usually tell, oh, that's mostly computer, or at least if it's mostly computer, They didn't even
Yeah.
try. And I don't know. I guess that's why I large consumer of much music, because I hate to say it, the old man yells at cloud, but to an extent, it's like some of it just starts sounding a little repetitive, and or it just kind of done it all. Ones that stand out that I'll give a listen are if it's something really, really unique, whether and I'm talking whether it's hip hop or pop or whatever, got something that's super catchy. I guess that's the thing. I don't know that AI is going to be to pump out something super catchy, because it's gonna like screw it up, like try to be too perfect. But I don't know. Maybe they'll crack the code. Want to hear, you know?
Hmm.
But it's like music is one of those things. So I don't care what type of music created by a human. There's it's organic. I just seem like right now it's kind of stiff. I don't know how else to put it that.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like when you're playing on a like a Casio, the instrument. It's its own sound. It's like, even though it says this on the piano or trumpet, it's not a trumpet. The sound is. And granted, stylistically, because a lot of what it is, still gotta arrange it. I just don't think the guy has the arrangement.
Yeah.
I guess maybe even like with that's the thing, the beats that it are uninspired. However, still the lyric flow and the lyric and alliteration or endo, depending out. I don't know, because I've messed around with some AI songs, and I mean, you can make some funny stuff, but I don't know. You'd have to mess around for a long time with something to get to kick out something clever.
Have you seen? You probably don't watch too many reels or whatever. There's a there's a guy. He's a drummer, and he uses AI prompts to make different songs.
Well, and see, that's
Um,
fine. That's fine if you're
it,
using
it,
it as a
like,
tool.
he did like a was I think it was the one of the last ones I saw was this the lead singer from Disturbed, and then there was something that he told it to mix it with, and um and it's just like basically it's it's the song. It's the first part of the sickness, and it's just doing it the whole song. The AI doesn't say a rhyme at all. It just does the grunt from the sickness in different tones.
Yeah, but see,
And
he had to think of that. I don't think AI on its own, just on its own, would do that, because it would have no awareness of, oh, people will recognize this, this grunt or the monkey sound or whatever from that song,
yeah,
and be like, oh, that, you get all these millennials that'll be, I know that, in your head you're like, I know that, and like, oh, it's kind of like the uh channel there, I ruined it. Where he mashes two songs together, so it's like, okay, so it's like Conway Twitty sings In the Club from 56. Okay, he does use some AI, but he actually, lyrics the mouths the words, then uses AI to change it to sound like Twitty. I mean, using AI to um, voice change, his voice was Twitty. He'll rap, in the club. So I mean, there's still a lot of using AI, but still a lot of, again, it's a tool. There's a lot of human intervention to make it work, make it function as a. I just don't know if you just said AI make me a funny pop, that it wouldn't pump. Well, no, it just wouldn't pump out anything anybody would. May make a possibly Weird Al lyric type of song, but it wouldn't put it to anything new. So unless you truly listen to the lyrics, probably wouldn't know that it's supposed to be or I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe I could do that. I just don't think.
There was one, maybe that's who I saw, but there was another one I saw that was they took they took Dolly Parton's Jolene and they put the lyrics from Slipknot's Duality to it, and they had it sing in Dolly Parton's voice, and it was
That
a,
that probably
it was crazy how well the two songs mashed up, the lyrics mashed up with the.
well I think that was there. I ruined it. I mean, he's on Instagram, he's on TikTok. I mean, YouTube's a little hard for.
I think we're I think we're done for today. Go.
Yeah, well, and
Uh,
it's
I'm stuck in a
oh
tractor.
shit.
You drove.
Well, I thought you were okay.
I skipped out.
Okay, I was gonna.
'Cause I was gonna go sleep and then
Okay,
save it there. But
well, we can sleep and ready for. I was gonna say, and
yeah,
like to go. we
yeah.
we do. When it gets back to winter time, when Friday night.
So,
Yeah, that there I ruined it as a fun channel. Like I said, not all of his stuff can go on YouTube because he has it on Facebook or Reels or other things.
that's what I saw. It was Instagram Reels.
Yeah. Yeah, there's actually, you should go through his back catalog because there's a lot of good ones. I even some of him. But because there was some that I thought about sending you just because they're just like right up your alley. Okay, like his latest one is Taken the musical. Oh, okay. Okay. So like drowning pool bodies. Okay, only as like a nursery. Okay. um, Limp Bizkit the musical. Oh, Party in the USSR. So it's like Miley Cyrus and like Beatles back in the USSR. Yeah, there's a bunch of good. Okay. Well,